What's going on, Jerry? I'm Jerry. Hi. What's going on, everybody? I'm Jerry, and this is my Week 6 picks. Can't figure out how to do the intro. That's perfectly fine. I'm doing my picks. I'm doing my score predictions, bets against the spread. It's all here. Let's get right into it before I start messing up my speech again. Here we go. First game, we got Thursday night, Broncos Chiefs. I got the Chiefs winning 38-17. I think they cover the spread of 10.5 very easily. Broncos have been scoring points on offense at the very least, and their offense, especially if you look at the stats, it really hasn't been that bad. So that's why I have the Broncos scoring the way they are. But the Chiefs are still absolutely going to dominate. I kind of look at it similarly to shouldn't look at one game, but you had the Broncos play the Bears. Broncos barely won, and then you have the Chiefs playing the Broncos. They're going to murder them just like the Chiefs murdered the Bears. So probably a horrible analogy to use. That's just the logic I'm using from the recent games, and it just seems right to me. So Chiefs take down the Broncos, 38-17. Chiefs cover. Vikings Bears. I've been reluctant to pick the Bears to win because last week was the first day I didn't pick the Bears to win, and they lost. So far, I'm 0-5 when picking for the Bears, but I'm going to pick them to win this time. The Vikings I would have picked if Justin Jefferson was playing. It seems like the fans want them to tank. Not that that's what they're going to do, but they've been finding ways to lose games like the Bears did last year, and I think losing Justin Jefferson's going to hurt them. I think the run offense hasn't been great. And even though the Bears' cornerbacks have been battered, I think having Justin Jefferson out helps a lot. I think Jordan Addison's been shining due to Justin Jefferson taking a lot of the coverage and taking a lot of the spotlight. So then Jordan Addison's been able to play well. I don't think he's going to be able to be this crazy wide receiver one. I could be proven wrong. But I think Kirk Cousins might struggle a little bit more too because he doesn't have his safety blanket in Justin Jefferson. Therefore, I have the Bears winning and covering the spread, even though they're the underdogs. So, they would have, I'm guessing they'd cover the spread even if they were minus 2.5. But either way, so even at this point, if they lose by 1 or 2, I can still get this right here, but I'm taking the Bears winning on the money line, 31-27. Next, we have Ravens-Titans, 23-17 Ravens. I think the Ravens are pissed at how they lost last week, so I think they're going to go into Tennessee and put up a good fight. When I do these score predictions, I make the score and then I look at the spread. And when I saw that it was 4, I actually had it 21-17. I was like, I think the Ravens are more likely to cover the spread, even though the Titans have been in some close games this year. Just because of the matchups, I think the Titans have a good run defense. And I think their defense will perform well in the red zone. At least that's just my prediction here, meaning that the Ravens would end up with a lot of field goals. That's kind of where that 23 comes from. You'd have to get 3 field goals ultimately to get that or miss an extra point. So I got the Ravens winning 23-17 and covering that spread. Next, we have the Commanders and the Falcons. I went back and forth on this one. And with that low spread, I did want them to cover again. I feel like teams don't often win by 1 or 2. It's usually more. So I got the Falcons taking it down. I wanted to go to the Commanders, especially after that bad loss. They had a mini bye, so I don't know. I went back and forth. I like the Falcons this season. I think they've played well. I think their defense is good and might be able to at least slow up Sam Howell, who has been pretty productive throwing the ball, although making some mistakes. I think that run game might be tough to stop for the Commanders too, because the Commanders' run defense although it was pretty good against the Bears, they still they had good yards per carry. So I think the Falcons are going to dominate in that regard. I think they might take an early lead and then end up getting that win. And so I have them winning and covering the spread. Next up, we have Seahawks Bengals. I have the Seahawks winning, and they're +3 in this game. I was very surprised just because of how the Bengals have been playing. They got the big 34-20 win over the Cardinals. To me, that game last week for the Bengals was still just, obviously it was a 2-touchdown win, but towards the end of that game it was 27-20, and Josh Dobbs was driving down the field and threw a costly interception, which he doesn't normally do. So I think that game could have been a lot closer. You could have been looking at an overtime game. And against the Cardinals, who, although have looked better than expected, I don't think that it's enough to deserve the Bengals should be favored in this game. So I've just got the Seahawks winning by 3. In this case, I'm kind of saved by that +3 as well. Might be a good bet. Seahawks at +3, or if you wanted to do an alternate spread and do like 3.5 or something just to get that field goal. I don't know what the odds are on that off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks winning 31-28 against the Bengals. Next, we have the Colts Jaguars. This is another one as I slowly die that I went back and forth on because the Jaguars looked really good against the Bills last week. But Trevor Lawrence started off hot, and then he kind of plateaued, and Travis Etienne just kind of took over and was able to play well. They weren't really playing well at the same time, and I think the Colts have been better than expected. And although Gardner Minshew does have more time in the NFL than Anthony Richardson, obviously, and there's more tape on him, I think he's going to be a little harder to plan for, just because we haven't seen him much in the Shane Steichen offense. So I think the Colts will at least be able to cover. I think they even could win, but with how much the spread is with that -4.5, I just thought that was a lot. So I have the Colts covering, but the Jaguars winning 28-24. Next, we have the Panthers Dolphins. The Panthers have been able to put up points. That's why I put them at 28 there. Been able to score on offense, but the Dolphins have been the best at it. So I have another high-scoring game for the Dolphins. I don't think the Panthers are going to be able to stop them, even with Achane out, and you know we're getting Jeff Wilson back too. So Achane has been electric, but they got Mostert, they have Jeff Wilson, they still have Tyreek and Waddle. They just got Chase Claypool, which was part of my reason I thought the Panthers might cover. That's a big spread, and Chase Claypool absolutely ruined the locker room in Chicago. So going over there, I don't know if he could ruin it. It's his first week. But regardless, I've got the Dolphins winning and covering that very, very large spread. It just seemed tough not to pick them that way. 49ers, Browns, another spread that I thought was a little bit closer than expected. They always factor in 3 points for the home team, so you'd say in an even wash game it would be 9.5 points to the Browns, but because they're at home they get the 3, making it 6.5. I still don't think, I think that's too little. The 49ers just mutilated the Cowboys. So the Browns are dealing with a lot of injuries. We don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play. Nick Chubb's out for sure for a while. Jerome Ford has been okay, but he's not Nick Chubb. They got Kareem Hunt back, so we'll see how they use him. And then I don't know if Dorian Thompson-Robinson's going to play. I heard they might have gotten P.J. Walker to their practice squad, or maybe he's on the roster. But I don't think either of those are going to make much of a difference. I have the 49ers going in there and winning and covering the spread, 31-14. Next, we have the Saints-Texans. This is another one that I thought could have been kind of close, just because the Texans have been playing a lot better than expected. So to beat underdogs at home was a bit of a surprise. I think it's just from the Saints' dominating win last week. I think their defense is going to be very tough and might be the first to cause a C.J. Stroud interception, because he is still on that streak, which is nuts to start off his career. I just think this could be the game where they get that interception, and I think that could be the deciding factor, because again, I think either team could win this game, but I have C.J. Stroud finally making a mistake as far as turnovers go, and the Saints coming out with a victory. Their team is just more well-rounded and more, I'd say more consistently well-rounded. Obviously, they've had some slip-ups this year, but I like the Texans a lot this year. I think they're a good football team, but I just can't pick them to win this one yet. So I'm taking the Saints and only getting -1.5 for the Saints. That just seems like if you think they're going to win, that's a real easy bet to make. So I'm taking the Saints and covering the spread. Next up, we have Patriots Raiders. This one was tough too because the Patriots just came off a win off of who very struggling right now, the Packers. But the Patriots have looked like an absolute dumpster fire, and you know people are talking about Bill Belichick wanting him for his job, or wanting to someone to take his job because he hasn't been doing well. But the Patriots at +3, I still don't think they're a very bad football team. I think they've just been running into a lot of problems. You know, you played against some good defenses too, especially in the Cowboys. So I don't think you can really factor that in. So with the lacking defense of the Raiders, they really just have Max Crosby, who's been an absolute force to be reckoned with. But I'm taking the Patriots in this one, winning at 20-17. Bill Belichick is not going to be excited about it anyway. We might get a little smile out of him because that's really all he does. but probably won't even get a smile. He'll probably just have his quiet, somber, boring, hilarious interviews after. And I'm going to take the Patriots in this one. And at +3, might be a good one, looking for a bounce-back game. Next, we have Lions Buccaneers. I have the Lions taking this one. I just flat out don't believe in the Buccaneers. I think their 3-1 record is fraudulent because they played against the Broncos and the Bears. The Bears and Panthers played against some not good teams. And therefore, I don't think that they're that good. I think maybe Vita Vea is going to be able to stop the run defense, I guess. Or stop the run on the Lions. I don't see that really being a big issue. So I think the Lions are going to take this win 31-21, covering that only 3-point spread. That was another surprise to me. The Lions have looked really good. They've beaten good teams this year, so I don't see how you can only have a 3-point spread, but the books always know something more than we do. So taking 31-21, Cardinals Rams. I wanted to make this game a little bit closer, but I didn't find a score that I liked. I guess I could have done like 28-20. Rams still winning, but with that spread, -7, I think they picked a good spread because the Cardinals have often been within like a touchdown or a touchdown and a field goal. Last week was almost technically just a touchdown because of the turnover at the end and the touchdown scored. It wasn't, it was a one-score game, very close towards the end. So I think this one could be another one. I have the Rams winning. I think they're probably pissed about losing last week. You got Cooper Kupp back. I think they're going to be able to dominate Stafford. I think he'll have a great week. And I have the Rams winning and covering the spread 28-17. And I believe we got a couple more games. Eagles-Jets. I think that the Eagles are kind of fraudulent, but I think the Jets are a little overrated as well. They've just had a couple good weeks against some bad teams and looked better. I think the Eagles' offense has still been good, so I think the Jets might struggle to stop them, but I don't think the Eagles' defense has been that great. So I have the Jets scoring 17. When I picked this score before, I actually had it 27-24, and then I was like, I just feel like more often than not teams cover the spreads, so I moved it to 27-17, just seemed right to me. So that's what we got, 27-17. Eagles take down the Jets in New York or in New Jersey. And then we have the Giants playing the Bills. This one, the Giants have just been a dumpster fire. It sounds like Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starting quarterback for the Giants with Daniel Jones out. Sounds like Saquon's coming back, but he's still been questionable all this week. So Matt Breida could be playing. Could be Saquon. I just think there's too many question marks. I think the Bills win and cover. I put 38-13. They're probably pissed about losing to the Jaguars in London last week. So I feel like it only makes sense that the Bills take the dub and cover. Last but not least, we have the Cowboys Chargers. I got the Cowboys winning and covering. I've been saying I don't believe in their offense, and that's why they're only scoring 21 points. I think the Chargers defense hasn't looked as good as we expected, except for Khalil Mack that one week where he had 6 sacks. So I got the Cowboys winning 21-17, covering the spread. This one was tough for me, though. I think it could be like a 21-20 where the Chargers cover. I just think it's tough. I mentioned it before in this video that where it's a 1 or a 2 spread, it's tough to bet on that spread, especially unless you think the Chargers are going to win. I guess then you'd bet on it, getting the 1 or 2 points, but I think the Cowboys are still going to win. They're pissed about getting murdered by the 49ers last week. And although the Chargers are coming off a bye and they get to play at home, so that could be a good thing. I don't believe in Brandon Staley either, so I can't trust that they were working that hard in their bye week anyway. So I have the Cowboys getting the win over the Chargers and covering that 2.5-point spread. Finally, I have my record so far, which I am not happy with. 45-33 is really not that great. Against the spread, not great either. I actually, bit of a lie there with the 38. I just put in an average spread because for the first weeks. So I just put like 8-8 every week because I didn't get a chance to throw that in the videos. I didn't keep track of it. So now that we're keeping track of the spread, I got to do my this year record. So first week did not start off very well. My favorite stat that I've been keeping track of that I think is nice that I probably should have mentioned earlier in this video is their better rushing team record. So what that is whichever team has the more efficient run game that week, if they or run the ball fast, like if they're run the ball faster, that's a real stupid way to put it. If they have more yards and the yards per carry is about the same, then I give it to that team. If they have if they're close in yards, but one team has a higher yards per carry, that's how I grade it. And so that's not like very scientific or anything, but it's enough for me to. Most of them are very clear where this team wins and they have significantly more rushing yards. You could argue that part of that is because they're already winning. So, they're going to run the ball to try to run the clock out. They're going to have more rushing yards. But that's why I factor the yards per carry in. So, if one team has 100 rushing yards and another team has 70, but the one team only had 10 carries and they were getting 7 yards a carry, but the other team had 100 with 4 yards a carry, team with 7 is going to get it. So, that's kind of how that works. And based on those metrics, the better rushing team is 59-19, which is wild to me. So something to keep in mind when you're betting on games and when you're trying to pick who you think's going to win. I think that was something I discovered this year. And so, yeah, that's my record so far. Hopefully I can improve that this week with some better picks. And that should be it. Yeah, we made it back to we're making it back to the thumbnail. Here we are. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below what if you think any of my picks were good, what I got right, what I got wrong, if I was very wrong about something. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.